It's Emerald Ash Borer Awareness Week in Minnesota, and as part of that, U.S. Department of Agriculture representatives were at Great Bluffs State Park Saturday to educate the public about the emerald ash borer and to offer a first-hand look at the damage the insects can create.
It's a pest of pretty high significance because it essentially kills the trees, and when it's known present in an area or in ash trees, it's a death sentence for the trees. So it has a really big economic impact as well as environmental impact. So it has a pretty heavy significance, and that's why we have regulations about the movement of ash wood, that no ash from counties that have known infestations of emerald ash borer can be moved.
The thing that's really bad about the emerald ash borer is that there are no native predators to it in the United States, and the trees did not evolve with emerald ash borer, so they do not have an evolved resistance to it. In their native range, the trees evolved with it, so therefore they're able to have some co-resistance to emerald ash borer. Where here the trees haven't shown any resistance yet to emerald ash borer, so it's just going to wipe out a whole population.
What we're looking at are galleries that are made by the emerald ash borer larva. The larvae eat and feed on the nutrients in the vascular tissue of the tree, and they create what we call a gallery, which is an S shape or a serpentine shape where it feeds.
Up here at the top, you can just make out some smaller starts of galleries, and then obviously down here they become a little bigger and you actually can follow the gallery. So this is one older gallery. It's probably about 3 or 4 years old. So this beetle's been here for at least that long. And then basically they'll make this gallery, and then they'll, when they're ready to pupate, they'll dig down in deeper into the wood and pupate. And that's where, if we're lucky, the woodpeckers will find them. But if not, they'll pupate down in there into adult beetles, and then they'll emerge once we reach that 450-degree days as flying green emerald ash borer.
The significance of this is that the larval stage of the emerald ash borer beetle kills the tree by feeding on that vascular tissue and basically cutting off its ability to conduct nutrients and water. So it suffocates the tree. And this tree is pretty heavily infested with emerald ash borer, so the damage goes all the way to the bottom to ground level. But in the early phases of an infestation, it would be just in the upper canopy. So the best way to find some of the initial signs of an infestation would be to look in the upper canopy for woodpecker damage while the woodpecker are searching for those larvae and pupa. They create kind of a large hole, and then when we see a lot of those feeding holes from woodpeckers, which are a lot more apparent clearly in the winter, then we can pull some of the bark back and see a lot of the damage. So externally, there isn't really a lot visually to see to indicate that there would be EAB infestation or larval feeding under this bark. But then when we pulled it off with a knife, clearly you can see a lot of the galleries. So it's pretty elusive and it's pretty hard to tell, especially in the first few years or early phases of that. So that's why we kind of try to tell people to look up in the upper canopy with binoculars and to look in the upper branches, to look for bark that has been pulled off by either the woodpecker feeding or sometimes the galleries caused in previous years by the emerald ash borer. The tree creates a callus around that dead tissue, and then as it continues to grow, the bark splits, and when the bark splits, sometimes you can see that S-shaped gallery inside of the bark split.
If you suspect you have emerald ash borer, you can give the Arrest the Pest hotline a call, which information is found on our MDA website, or you can also send us an email on the Arrest the Pest as well, and then just give us a brief description of what you saw. If you can email pictures in, that'd be great, and then just a location of where it is. GPS points would be great, but just a physical address. And then someone will call you back, and then if needed, we will send an expert out to try to identify it positively or negatively as emerald ash borer.
Now, if you'd like to take the emerald ash borer tour of Great Bluffs State Park, MDA officials will be back at the park on Tuesday. Call 651-201-6244 if you'd like to go along on that.